Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's seminar. My name is Valerie Twombly, excuse me, and excuse me, goodness, I'm going to be talking about the bubble method of mind mapping. Um, Currently, I write paranormal romance. I've been writing since 2013, and I'm working on my 20th book. So I will be publishing my 20th novel this year. I'm really excited. Yay. Um, but I'm even more excited about this conference. This was an awesome conference last year, and I'm so glad they decided to do it again. I learned lots of great things, and I know you guys are going to get a lot of information throughout this entire month. So take lots of notes and enjoy. So anyway, um, on to what we're going to be discussing today. There we go. This is called the bubble method. It's a brainstorming tool, and I think you're really going to love this. It's not hard. It's super easy to do, and it's very effective. So the bubble method is actually a form of mind mapping, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with mind mapping, but here we go. Ever suffer from writer's block? Yes. Do you experience brain freeze rather than brainstorm? Yes. This is where mind maps can help you. So their spatial layout helps you gain a better overview and makes new connections more visible. So you can create an infinite number of thoughts, ideas, and associations on any topic. It's perfect for fostering creativity and generating new ideas, whatever the mood takes you. So it's a great tool to use for writing, and you can be a plotter to use this method. You can also be a pantser, which is what I am. It's probably even more effective tool for people who are pantsters, and I couldn't plot my way out of a paper bag, so I really commend those of you who can. It's a great way to organize your thoughts. So a mind map can help you think with greater clarity, to explore relationships between ideas and elements of an argument, and to generate solutions to problems. Well, when we hit that brick wall and we're sitting there staring at that blinking cursor, I think we really need a solution to whatever our problem is. It helps you put a new perspective on things by allowing you to see all of the relevant issues, and help you analyze choices, looking at the bigger picture. It also becomes easier to integrate new knowledge and organize information logically, as you aren't tied to a rigid structure. Again, this is where it's a really good tool for those who are pantsters, or not total plotters. Maybe you outline a little bit, or whatever, but this is why it's an excellent tool. It's a very good visual. Helps you improve your writing. So mind mapping is, of course, a powerful tool for assisting any form of writing. Several studies have been done about this, and findings have shown that it reveals that the written work produced by using mind mapping includes things like more relevant detail and better organized and connected ideas. Mind mapping raised the performance of students at all levels of ability as they became more efficient in generating and organizing ideas for the writing. And of course, those studied also displayed a positive attitude towards using mind mapping as a pre-writing activity. Make a statement with color. This is where it gets fun. So, of course, all documents look great in color. It makes everything prettier. But there are also reasons behind using color. As an example, it captures and engages attention. 92% believe color presents an image of impressive quality, done in a study by Xerox. Inform, color improves comprehension by 73%, boosts sales, color increases brand recognition by up to 80%, and it helps with, well, it's hard to see this here because my face is in the way, right? Why can't make me any smaller? There we go. Improve your memory. So 90% believe that they remember presentations and documents better when color is used. Okay, so what is the bubble method in particular? So the bubble method is sometimes called clustering and mind mapping. So it's a form of mind mapping. It's a brainstorming technique used by fiction and nonfiction writers. It's a powerful tool if you want to discover the unexpected and to clarify your thoughts. This method works whether you're brainstorming for things like a query letter, interview questions, article topics, or you just want to come up with new book ideas. I've used this method for titles to books. I've used it for story ideas. I've used it for when I'm stuck. So when I'm staring at that blinking cursor, maybe I need to know where my story has to go. I've used it for that as well. So what exactly is it and what does it look like? Well, let's get right to one here. Oops. Okay, so this is one that I did on a piece of paper. And you can do the bubble method on paper with just a plain pen. You can use colored markers or colored pencils. Originally, I did this one in colored pencils, but it didn't copy over very well. You couldn't see it. So I had to do it over again in just plain old black pen. Not as pretty, but at least now you can read it. So basically what you do is the center is your theme. So if you're looking to, in this case, I was looking to come up with an idea for a Christmas novella for this year. So my issue here is right in the center. It's Christmas. So what you do is you just take a piece of paper and you write down whatever your theme, your question, your problem is in the center. Put a circle or box around it. Then you have to make 10 lines outward. Has to be 10. Can't do 5, can't do 6, must be 10. Don't cheat yourself. And from there, you're going to start brainstorming anything that has to do with Christmas. So here's the key. You need to do whatever comes into your head. Write it down right away. Don't think about it. Don't go censoring yourself and go, oh, that's kind of a stupid idea. You know, I'm not going to write that down. No, stupid ideas, write them down too. This is the whole purpose of brainstorming. It doesn't matter how crazy it sounds. You have to put it down. Censoring yourself is not going to help you improve your writing. Second thing, when you're doing this, you don't, some mind mapping methods will tell you that you need to set a timer and you got to do this in, so many seconds. Not really. You can actually take this bubble method. You could write down a couple of things that come into your head, put the paper down, walk away. You can walk away for a day, 2 days, a week, whatever. It doesn't matter. Come back to it, write down 1 or 2 more, walk away. Or if you're on a roll and you have 10 ideas that pop into your head all at one time, then by all means, you can write those down. So I'm just going to kind of go through this and we'll look at what came into my head while I was thinking about Christmas. So the first one I actually wrote down, because I write paranormal, is Vampires First. What kind of story could you get out of that? A Vampire's First Christmas. Next one I came up with was The Tree Catches Fire. Well, that could be interesting. A lot of different playoffs you could have on that. Down here at the bottom, a little hard to read there. My writing got sloppy. Santa brings her what? Does Santa bring her something special? Maybe Santa brings her Mr. Right, brings her that diamond ring she finally always wanted, whatever. The next thing is Best Friends Celebrate. That could be a cool one if you have a series going and maybe it involves different, best friends. How do they get together and celebrate? My favorite is An Apocalyptic Holiday. How would you celebrate? Or would you even celebrate? What would be going on in that scenario? How demons celebrate? Well, there we go. We're back to the paranormal element. That could make for a really dark holiday story for sure on how demons celebrate. Could be interesting. Here's one. Santa is really a demon. There you go. Another dark paranormal. Maybe the North Pole is really located in hell. Who knows? Anything. A baby is born. That's a pretty common one. Holidays. But could you put a different twist on it? Um, Xmas in hell. Do they celebrate such a thing in hell? How do they celebrate it? Could be a very dark Christmas. Lots of things you could play off of that one. And then the last one is how angels spend their Xmas. Again, what could you spin off of that? That one kind of came up because I actually have an angel series. So when you're doing this, you could be thinking about series maybe you already have written and how you could play into that. Or do you want to start something totally brand new? Maybe you just want a standalone holiday novella. You know, lots of things. So when I was doing this, I had in my head actually different series that I have going on. I mean, I have a firefighter series, so Tree Catches Fire, that could fit in there somewhere. I have stories that have vampires in them. They're from another world. Maybe do they even know what Christmas is in their world? Hard to say. So obviously, a lot of your ideas are going to come from things you've already probably worked on or things you've thought about in the past. This is just one method of doing brainstorming. Now, if you want to step it up a notch, I actually have here, there we go. This is a app from Apple. It's called Simple Mind Lite, and it's actually free. They do have a paid version. I'm not sure what the differences are, but this one works great for me. There are lots of different apps out there for mind mapping. So when you do a search for an app, you can do a search for mind mapping, and you'll come up with lots of different ones for Apple products and for PCs, your smartphones. A lot of them are free. Some of them do cost. What I would recommend is try a lot of the free ones, try a lot of different ones until you find one that you really like and that works for you, because everybody is different. So you're going to find you may like something else. It took me at least three or four different apps before I actually came across this one and decided I really liked it. So anyway, this is an example of a map that I did for a story I actually have releasing coming up this year. And I ran into a couple issues with, first off, I had certain events that needed to happen. I just wasn't sure in what order I wanted them to happen in. They could happen in a couple different ways. So the mind mapping actually helped me figure out the best way. It's great because you can just grab hold of these and you can, move them around. So you can rearrange things, connect them in different ways. But what I did was I basically took, this was my issue here. So when our heroine tells our hero that he really is her mate, what's going to happen from that? And I kind of built off of that, different things that could happen. I knew in the story that she was going to become pregnant, and what different things were going to happen to her when this occurred. This is an angel series, actually, so a lot of different things took place when she became pregnant with his child. She starts to have flashbacks from another person. There's a little bit of reincarnation going on in this story, so that's where the flashbacks come from. Excuse me. Obviously, the hero thinks it's a trick of some sort. Lots of things going on, but I use different colors here, if you'll notice, for different things, different segments of maybe the problem, or maybe different issues, maybe one color for something that the hero might do, different colors for something the heroine might do. That same story, excuse me, I have this frog in my voice today for some reason. That same story, one of the things I knew needed to happen in that story was our heroine had to get pregnant with the hero's son. This was something that was commanded to her by higher ups, and it was just something that was going to happen. But of course, being a reader, they're going to want to know, well, why? How is this central to the story? Why does this need to occur? I wasn't really sure myself what needed to occur from this, so I made that my focal point here. Riam is Carrie Teagan's son. Well, what happens when this occurs? Well, one of the things over here is when he discovers that she's pregnant, obviously he's going to move heaven and hell to save both of them because she ends up getting into trouble, as sometimes our heroines do. And so he's got to come to the rescue, of course. Um, One of the things that happens to her while she's carrying this child is Lucifer gets a hold of her, and it's a combination of her blood, because she's what they call a pure angel, and the child that actually is able to open up a gate. And when this gate opens up, it creates all kinds of nonsense, craziness, and everything else. Another reason that maybe they want her to come back carrying his child is because our hero has a pretty unique bloodline. And that's pretty important to this series. So that was one thing I knew that I could use to say, this is why this needs to happen. Another thing in this particular series that I have is angels cannot enter hell unless they're escorted by a demon. There are 2 angels currently that have the ability to do so. Because of this unique bloodline down here, this child would be another one of those angels who would be able to enter hell. That creates a whole nother storyline, actually. When this child grows up, is this going to be something that could come into play in the future? So I kind of had to keep that into mind. Obviously, the boy will have a sister because there's already one child. She's the angel of death. So what does that make him? He's going to be a little different than her. So is he, an angel of light? So if you kind of get the idea, looking at, here's my problem. What are different things that can happen because of this problem? What are different reasons that this might be important to the story? And I just keep building off of that and using the different colors. And see, the colors are really pretty. They do really help. And here's one I'm currently actually working on now. This is the first story I'm writing right now. It's a firefighter series with shifters and humans. So we have a combination of both. So my issue is, despite his fear of commitment, Derek, who's our hero, agrees to a relationship with Haley, our heroine. He's got some backstory, and the reader will learn, why he has these commitment issues. But he finally breaks down, and he gives in, and he agrees to give this relationship a whirl, despite his fears. One of his fears is right here that she's a shifter and he's human. So what kind of things are going to happen because of that? So that's one thing I need to think about. And from this, I could actually, branch off, and I could, add something, like lifespan. That can be an issue. And that's how I can move that wherever I want. I can continue to build off of this, or I could build off of this. I could say, if he mates with her, he gains her life span. And so see how that kind of works. And I could keep going with that one, and I'll probably do so later on. But down here, what I did was, so here's this fear of commitment. They're both firefighters. Well, I need to have something happen, obviously. I'm thinking maybe something happens to her while fighting fire. Maybe she falls through the floor, and all of a sudden, it just freaks him out. So this confirms his worst fear of loss. That's where he has commitment issues. Our hero in this particular story has a fear of loss. Everyone he ever cares for in his life, he has lost. So you can kind of see where this could be a problem for him. So now this girl he's become involved with, something happens to her. She's okay, obviously, but what's he going to do? He's going to break off the relationship. Well, we can't stop there because obviously this is a romance. We have to have a HEA at the end, otherwise the readers are going to like rip my head off. So we have to keep going. We know somewhere along the line he's got to come to his senses and they have to get back together. This is kind of where I started to have my problems in this particular story. It's like, what's going to pull him back? He's got this fear, so what's going to make him come back to her? And so that's where I started another theme here. What makes him change his mind and go back to her? Several things could happen. He finally has to face the fact that he's fallen in love with her. Things are not the same in his life without her. He realizes now that she's not in his life that he really misses her and he really wants this to work. I think our hero really does want to be happy. He just doesn't know it yet. He's got to face that fear. Maybe he finally realizes that he needs to face his demons or he's going to be alone forever. You need to live life now, so he needs to get over it. How's he going to get over it? Maybe we come down here and maybe he seeks some counseling of some sort. This here is still my work in progress. I'm still coming up with ideas on, what can transpire for this particular story. The nice thing that I like to do is, I'll come in and I'll do a little bit of this and I'll walk away from it. I'll do some writing and I'll do something else and I'll come back and I'll look at it maybe in a couple days just to remind myself what I did, and usually it will spark another idea and I'll just keep building off of these until I finally have my roadmap for the particular problem that I've encountered in this story. You can use this for issues that you run into. You can use it if you actually want to try to plot or outline. This is a fun way to actually outline a story rather than sitting down with paper and pen. I think this really helps your imagination more so than plain old paper and pen. One of the other methods I like to use for mind mapping is colorful sticky notes and a board that I have on my wall. So what I'll do is in the middle of the board, I'll write down the current novel's title. And then on one side, I'll write the hero's name and a description of him. The other side, I'll write the heroine's name and a description of her. And then from there, down each side, underneath their names, I will just start putting different color sticky notes. Could be anything. I may use, if I know there's a particular issue that character has, maybe they have fear, or there's some quirk in their personality, I'll put that on there so I know what it is, and I'll kind of work off of that. If I know that there's certain things I want to happen in the story to them in particular, I'll put that on a sticky note and stick it up there. That might not necessarily be things that happen in any kind of sequence. It's just ideas. It's just taking sticky notes, just writing down crazy things and just slapping them up on the wall. And some of them get used, some of them don't. So basically, when it comes to the bubble method, you have several different ways you can do it. As I showed you earlier, you can use the paper and markers, pen, pencil. I suggest not using pencils because you can erase things, and I don't want you to erase things. I don't want you to look at an idea and go, oh, that's just stupid, that's crazy, and then erase it. I want you to leave it there. You can get elaborate, and you can use software like this one. You can use the method on the wall, the board, cork board, You can use a cork board, whatever. I actually use all of them. It depends on what my mood is, what I'm working on. Sometimes one method will work better for me than another method. It's really a preference. It's a choice. So the thing that you have to remember most is, censoring yourself. Let me come back here and look at this. See, just plain and simple paper and a black pen. Don't censor yourself. Don't feel like you need to come up with all of these ideas at one time, because you don't. And if, for instance, on this particular one, if I look at this and go, I don't like any of these, crumple it up and throw it away. It's okay. Start over again. It's okay. If you find an idea that maybe you kind of like, we'll say, the apocalyptic holiday, you can actually start over again. You can start branching off of this. Make this your theme, put your 10 lines off of that, and build off of that idea. And keep going until you feel comfortable that you have something that you can work with. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's purely helping get your mind open and using your imagination to help get you through those tough spots, or help you, book titles. I've used this with book titles. Example, if I know maybe I want to use, let's just say, the word passion in a book title, I'd write that here in the middle, and then off of that I would go to Thesaurus and I would find different words to use in place of passion or something like that, until I have all of my lines filled up. And then I would start building my book title off of that until I had something that I really truly liked and wanted to use. So there's lots of different things you can use this method for. And again, here are the different methods, the paper and colorful pens, pencils, the software listed here. I use Simple Mind Lite for Apple. It's free. Sticky notes on a board. Doesn't matter. Use what works for you. And if you want more information, Eva Shaw actually is where I learned how to do this method from. You can visit her website there and get a little more information. And thinkbuzzin.com has some good information about mind mapping. So I hope that you found this information useful, and I thank you for sticking out with me while I do my very first presentation. And let me know if you have any questions. I will certainly do my best to answer them for you. Have a great writing year. I hope 2018 rocks for you. Bye-bye.